Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, you could tell that the microphone was working. You could hear me from back there. This is great, although if I had my choice, I would kind of levitate all of you, and I'd bring you kind of down about 30 feet because there's all this space up in front. But we're used to that, and the people that arrive late will be forced to sit closer to us. Good morning. It's really great to be back in person and seeing some familiar faces from over the years of this course. We've been doing this, Connie, for I think 34 years, something like that. And I think it's evidence of the ongoing need that our patients have for making sure that we're providing them with the best possible care. And that's the whole aim of this organization and of this program. We really appreciate your feedback. We're going to give you lots of chances during the day and afterwards to give us feedback. One of the areas of feedback that you've already given us is that you are willing to come to an in-person course. So it's a question that, as a CME organization, we've been asking ourselves because it obviously takes an effort to bring the faculty together, to fly people here, and to get this space, and for you to take time off from your positions to come. But we've argued whether or not we should keep doing this or should have all virtual programs. Thank you for shaking your head. No, yes, because we really like this in terms of the interaction that we have. I'm Paul Volberding from UCSF. This is the course that I hope you're here for, the IAS-USA annual update, again, number 30-something at Loyola University here in Chicago. I was asking kind of what the Catholic origin of Loyola was. I looked it up. It's a Jesuit school, good educational background. So welcome, and a lot of you, probably almost all of you, know John Fair, at least by reputation. And John was the very first director of this course. This was the first course that our organization, which used to be International AIDS Society USA, there's a long explanation for the name, we won't go there, now the International Antiviral Society USA, to make sure that we have all the viruses in hand. But John, who was obviously a very important early leader in the HIV response, worked closely with Connie. I'm sure she'll comment as well. Here in Chicago, said, let's do a course, a management course. John, as you know, continued to chair this course for many years, co-chair it, and then even after he stopped co-chairing, kept coming to the course. We always enjoyed a faculty dinner. John came to that as well. So we really honor him. John was the first recipient of our organization's International Lifetime of Leadership Award, very appropriate, and we miss him a lot. And we can listen to John through his daughter's music, Liz Fair, who at least some of the slightly older people in the audience will know. Really, thank you for coming, and this is not the only thing the organization does. We are an ACCME certified CME provider, and we have been very active. Donna Jacobson, who's hiding in the back, is our executive director and has really helped us come up with many ideas, kind of, again, responding to the feedback from our participants of ways to get good education, good information to you. And this is just a number of the activities that the organization does. One that we'll mention probably several times are the ongoing webinars that we do. Those are online, and informal dialogues, especially over the past pandemic. I like using the word past pandemic, but over the COVID pandemic, kind of responding in a very informal way to the new information. As I mentioned, Connie is my co-chair. Constance Benson was a very important early leader here in Chicago when she was here before moving on initially to Colorado and now to San Diego, but she will be my co-chair and co-moderating. We welcome you. Again, this is evidence of your willingness to kind of come in person, 135 people from the states and countries that you see there. Donna spends part of her time in Canada, so we're not sure if she's actually the Canada person here, but if there, oh, look, 3 other people from Canada. Yay! So we like to do, and we have to do, pre and post test questions for the ACCME and for the ABIM. So we do pre-activity knowledge. A number of you have taken the exams. You didn't do very well. But having become relatively retired myself, I have to say that the questions I found very challenging, and obviously a lot of you did as well. But that's good, because one of the things that we really like to be able to show is improvement. The organizations that sponsor or certify CME like to see improvement. So we've asked our speakers to make sure when they go through their talks that they kind of raise their hand and set off alarms when they're mentioning a point that you want to remember, because it'll come back in the post-test quiz. So I'm not trying to bias things, but I am. We'll come back to that. As I mentioned, we're an ACCME organization. They watch what we do. We've been certified by the ACCME for a number of years. We started out as really just a MD kind of provider organization. We've appreciated over the years of the HIV epidemic that docs certainly aren't the only ones involved in the care of patients, and we've tried to make sure that our educational acknowledgement goes beyond just MDs. And I don't know that there is a certification for the other healthcare professionals who work behind the scenes in your organizations, kind of managing the operations. I've overheard some people here talking about their role as managing the organization that the docs and others work for, but we've really tried to keep up with that. So here we are with CME, ABIM, nursing, pharmacy, and pharmacotherapy credits, and we really hope that you fill out the paperwork. We'll tell you a little bit more about that to get your credits for the course. We are a largely volunteer organization. The board of directors of the IAS-USA is all volunteer, but we do need support. We try to keep the registration costs for our programs minimum, but we appreciate the support that we get from several of the companies that are still involved in HIV care, and we show them here, and we really do appreciate their support. We obviously want to make sure that we are transparent in the financial relationships that the organization and the speakers have with our pharmaceutical supporters, and we show that here, and we will both in the written materials that you have, the online, and then we've asked the speakers to make sure that they acknowledge the potential relationships that they have. The PowerPoint presentation will be available following the course. And again, this is available for those people that aren't here in person today. So we really do want to get as much information out as possible. And I think this is where my notes here say, I should thank you for coming again and acknowledge Connie and welcome to the program.
And I'll just add my welcome to Paul's and thank you all for coming this morning. We have a really excellent program for you. We're going to start off by getting you used to using the Slido system for audience polling. And use of this system will be necessary for all of the questions that are embedded in various talks today. So if you could use the QR code or use the instructions on the slide here to join Slido, we can go on to our first audience response question and see how this works. So the first question we're going to practice with is, did you attend the 2024 Conference on Retroviruses and Opportunistic Infections, or CROI, in Denver this year? So make your choice on Slido and we'll see what it looks like. We usually have music for this part, but I'm told we can't hook that up in here, so no music. And you don't want me to sing or Paul to sing either, so that's not happening. All right, we've got quite a few people who've responded, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the button there. So looks like only a small proportion of you attended CROI, so this will be a good review for you. A lot of the information we're going to talk about this morning will be updates from data that were presented at CROI this year, one of our major conferences for people who are treating HIV in the U.S. And the second question also relates to CROI, but now that we know most of you didn't attend, have any of you attended another update on CROI material for this year? And go ahead and answer on Slido. Okay, let's see how many. Oh, it looks like this is my post. Looks like only about a quarter of you might have attended another CROI update. So some of this will be review for you then, but hopefully our speakers will be highlighting some points that you haven't heard. So we also have a number of fellows here attending the course today, and we just want to acknowledge them and welcome them. So if they could stand, we'll give them a little applause. It's always nice to see young, fresh faces in the audience, especially for those of us who've been around for 34 years. But the future of our specialties. So this morning, I'm just going to briefly show you the agenda. You can obviously see this as we go along today, but we're going to be covering antiretroviral updates, things you might have missed from previous conferences, the latest updates on immunizations. We have a case-based presentation from Dr. Dar that will cover a lot of points that we can't cover in lectures. We'll hear some about PrEP and PEP and DoxyPEP, and then finish off the day looking at weight loss and cardiovascular complications of HIV and how to manage those. So it's going to be an exciting agenda, and I hope you'll all be with us for the full program.